We take a deep breath. We let it out. And we're just focusing on the moment. We're Buddhas now. Tank Lip the Buddha. Take another breath in. Let it out. As we focus on our breath, truly focus on just breathing in and breathing out. Our brain can't truly focus on anything else. So it's a mechanism, a shut-off mechanism to our minds that are racing and thinking way too much. We just focus on our breath, truly focus. I'm breathing in, really feeling it, holding it even. And letting it out. Focus on breathing out. When we really focus, truly focus on that, the brain technically can't really focus on two things at the same time. There's really no such thing as multitasking. The brain is really only capable of doing one task at a time. We can do more than one task. We can put our arm up like that and put the other arm like that. It's two things, but we're only really able to focus on one thing at one moment. The brain can only think or focus on one thing. You want to shut off the racingness, the racing of the mind. Too much activity going on in the brain, which is making you stressful, making you feel stress and is stressful. Just focus and come back to your breath. If you really focus on just the breath and just the breathing, you can turn off all the other stuff because you can't technically really focus on anything else other than one thing. So focus on the breath. You shut off the thinking. You shut off the racing mind. You're not able to any longer think about all the stuff that's causing you all the stress, all the too much thinking that's making your brain race. All that thinking, the too much thinking, the racing, the mind racing, all that too much activity. If you want to shut that down and turn it off, just focus on the breath, because you could choose to focus on all those thoughts, but you don't want to focus on all those too much thoughts because technically it's making it where you can't even really focus at all. There's just a bunch of racing. It's turbulence. It's too much activity. So it's uncomfortable. So you decide, I want to turn that down. I want to turn the volume of that down. I want to shut it off. You want the mechanism that can turn that off. Shut it down. You have to understand the brain can only technically, we think we can focus on more than one thing at a time, but technically the brain can only truly focus on one thing. So if you choose to focus on just your breath, the in-breath, the out-breath, breathing, which actually will calm your body down by doing that, you're accomplishing a lot actually. Way more than all the thinking. It's just accomplishing making you a nervous wreck. So you choose to attain that mechanism, use that mechanism which can shut down and shut off all that thinking, all that racing mind, all that racing brain. You want to shut it off, right? So you focus. There. My brain at that moment chose to focus on breathing in I was no longer able to think about any of those racing thoughts up here. All that activity, brain couldn't technically focus on any of that because I chose to focus on the breathing, which is all it's able to do. If you choose to focus on your in-breath, that's all your brain can focus or think about. Automatically shuts off all that other thinking, which you want to shut off. So let's do it without all the talking now. Go. Coughing's good for you sometimes. It's the coffin without going in the coffin. That was the transition from all the activity up here to the activity here. Brain didn't know what was going on, didn't know whether to think, didn't know whether to breathe, so it coughed. Now we're back. We're breathing. In and hold it, really accentuate it. Just really notice that you've got all that in-breath. You hold it. The longer you hold it, the in-breath, the more relaxation you'll feel in your stomach when you let the out-breath out. So let's do it again. And just hold it for a moment. Just hold that in-breath, like holding your breath. Yeah, holding your breath is what it is. But then let it out. Really long and accentuated. And you'll feel, since you held it, you'll feel that much more contraction, which the more contraction you get in your stomach, the more feeling of relaxation. And again, what we're accomplishing here is the opposite of all that stressful stuff. All that thinking, your body almost forgets to breathe. Well, for some people, like myself, it's like my brain forgets to breathe because I'm doing all this thinking. Actually start to hyperventilate. You know, people say it sounds like you're hyperventilating. It's because they're focusing on all the thoughts and the thinking and the racing mind and the racing brain. Again, I told you, the truth is the brain can actually only focus on one thing. So if you're focusing on all the thoughts and not focusing on your breath, you actually forget to breathe. That's why you're hyperventilating. You're not actually breathing properly. So what the body really wants to feel like, or can feel like, at its best, most maximum, optimal feeling of feeling good and relaxed. So let's do some more breathing. And it's actually important to not talk because the action of talking requires an action of thinking to think about what you're talking about. So the more you're talking about, you're actually interrupting your breathing. So you really want to enjoy and get the most optimal benefit from these breathing exercises. The idea is to do exactly the opposite of what I'm doing right now. See, I'm forgetting to breathe again. I'm not really breathing as I'm talking. It's not a good form of breathing, the talking. You want to really just stay quiet in your mind, not think about anything. Up here, don't want to do any talking here. Want to just stay silent, no noise. Just shut up and stay quiet and just breathe. No thinking, no talking, just breath. A quiet, non-talking breathing. And the more you get into it, you start to feel parts of your body relax. Up here, your your head, different parts of your head. The more and more you get into it, you'll actually start to feel the relaxation tingles. You've heard of people getting tingles. You'll actually feel the muscle in your brain start to relax and you get like these tingles. It's just like being on the most amazing drug, which is actually the brain now creating at that point, new drugs. Well, the actual thing, drugs, pills we take, are made off things that scientists understand about the chemistry in the brain. Like when you get to a certain level of relaxation, certain parts of the system of how the brain works shut down, and then you form more powerful chemicals or chemistry of like some of the good stuff, like creates dopamine, like whatever those chemicals are. The different receptors, certain ones shut down, the toxic stuff shuts down, and certain receptors create different chemicals, and you begin to feel some of like internally like that amazing chemistry. But before that even happens, the more you get into the breathing, you'll actually feel the muscles of the body relax. You'll feel it here. And if you focus not just on the breath, but also try to somewhat simultaneously, again, the brain can only focus on one thing. So we want to focus on the breathing, but corresponding to the breathing, somewhat simultaneously, focus in thought a little bit on certain areas of the body. Like think, I want to make my torso and my chest feel a feeling of relaxation. As you're taking the breath, sort of focus and concentrate on what you want this area of the body to feel like, and you can actually attain certain relaxation in this. If you want to feel the stress release, the toxic feeling of stress and aches get out of your body, focus on this area, and you'll feel, as you're continuing the breathing, you'll feel, you want to think, I want to feel my jaw take a stretch. Maybe you'll even go like this and you can feel the muscles contract in the bones in your jaw and your face. And here, if you want to feel a feeling of relaxation and the stress of your forehead area, you focus on this area and you breathe, and you'll accentuate what you want it to feel like here, and you'll release stress here, and you'll feel this area actually relax.
I've explained this to you several times, because they said that people start lining up at 9 o'clock and they get out according to what they have.
So you want to focus on this stuff here. You don't want to listen to all this noise I got going on in the room here. They're being completely obnoxious to my meditation, creating this noise. I don't want to hear or think about this other noise. I want to just focus on my breath. So they're messing up the aura.
I can't sit in the car for hours.
I want to block out their noise, just focus on your breath. They're creating noise, but you don't want to let it affect you and think about it. If you just focus on the breath, it'll actually, with all that noise in the background, them just talking, it'll block them out.
I just can't. I'm too tired.
See, I've been relaxing so much now for the last 10 minutes. It actually loosened up some stuff here, and I felt like I'd be able to maybe stretch and crack my neck a little bit. And sure enough, I got a bunch of cracks there, which is just like a release of tension and stress, which probably couldn't have accomplished as good to get that amazing crack and feeling of the tension release if I hadn't relaxed my body through the breathing to the point where I can now manipulate and contort some of the tension out. So I felt it in here, and I just took a crack and out went the tension, but I couldn't accomplish that had I not tapped into my breathing and relaxed my body and the muscles in my body for that 10 minutes. Zachary Drake, what's up, my brother? Ooh. How you like that, Zach? Zach attack. How you like that, Zach? Suck that back down. You do Tank Lip. It is what it is. Yo, Zach, go check my video out the last 10 minutes. Get some of your breathing right.